In this PowerPoint, we'll be talking about scenic design. The goals of the scenic designer are to help set the tone and style of the production, establish the locale and period, develop a design concept consistent with the director's concept, provide a central image or metaphor where appropriate, coordinate with other production elements, and solve practical design problems. The scene designer works with the elements of line, which is outline or silhouette of elements on stage, curved or sharply angular, mass, the overall bulk or weight of scenic elements, composition, the balance and arrangement of elements, texture, the feel of surfaces and fabrics, and color, including shadings and contrasts. Theater is a collaborative art, and the scene designer is part of the artistic team. Each team member works on his or her area of specialty to put together a cohesive final product, so communication is key. See what I mean? Each step of the way. Communication must be explicit, or it's very possible to misunderstand what the intended concept might have been. When A Doll's House premiered in the late 1800s, realism was the favored style of performance, and to complement this, a style of staging called the box set was developed, which attempted to replicate the appearance of, in this case, a living room. Realism could also be used to depict outdoor scenes, but there are also many other approaches to scenic design. This technique, called architectural stylization, using a few key elements to represent a structure. Or stylization could also be used to represent elements in nature. Expressionism is a style that conveys inner experience by distorting rather than directly representing natural images. This constructivist style shows you all the inner workings of a structure. This style uses symbolic images and indirect suggestion to express emotions and states of mind. This is a suggestivist design of A Doll's House that uses fragments of scenery in a minimalist style, allowing the audience to fill in the blanks. Here you can see just the outline of a Christmas tree, walls, Christmas gifts, just the suggestion. Here you can see a different approach to A Doll's House. The designer's goal is to develop a design concept consistent with the director's overall production concept. Step 1 in the process is to come up with a central image or metaphor to capture the director's production concept. This concept here seems to suggest maybe a bird's cage, and the one over here clearly emphasizes the door. That's such an important statement at the end of the play. Once the concept is clearly decided upon, the set designer will create some sketches and consult with the director to revise them as needed. The next step is to convert the approved sketches into colored renderings and again consult with the director and other designers to make sure the color scheme will work. A model of the set is an excellent communication tool, and there are usually a few steps for this too. The first is to create a rough or preliminary model, which is shown to the director for approval before creating what's called a white model, which is built to scale but not colored. Once the dimensions of the set are tweaked to satisfy the needs of the production, the set designer will use this to communicate with the tech director and crew members who will be helping to build the set. The next step is to paint the model, which helps, again, to communicate ideas in meetings with the costume and lighting designers. The set designer will draw a floor plan to scale, which is used by the director to plan out blocking for the actors, and by the lighting designer to plan out where to hang and focus lights, and by the tech director to plan out how to construct the set. Elevations are also drawn and used as blueprints for the building crew. The next few slides are images of some of the basic pieces that are used to create a set. A flat is a large piece of, usually a piece of fabric stretched over a frame and painted, just like a painting. Sometimes it's thin wood or something like that. Usually flats are built 4 feet by 8 feet in size, as that's an easy standard size to work with. They can be joined together with other flats to create walls, windows, and doors. Cutouts can be used as a two-dimensional representation of trees and other things. You can take that concept of fabric stretched over a frame and apply that to a 3D piece of scenery too, and then paint it to look like a tree or a rock or whatever you need. Sturdy platforms can be covered in this way to make them appropriate for the setting, but also weight-bearing. Drops are large pieces of fabric painted and hung. So here's a set design for a doll's house, in this case in the style of realism. Here's a different set design, still using realism as the style, but set in a different era. Here you can see the walls of the set enhancing the suggestivity of the lighting design to alter the mood of the scene. Here are some more set designs for a doll's house, taking a more suggestive approach to the construction of the set. This production is obviously adapted to contemporary times. You can tell by the track lighting, carpeting, furniture styles, and other elements. Here are a variety of other approaches, each setting a different tone for the production. This design was for a thrust stage configuration. See the plastic sheeting in the background and the bare suggestion of a Christmas tree? Nora almost looks like a doll in this version, doesn't she? This is one of the most intriguing concepts I've come across so far. In this, the set literally looked like a doll's house, with miniature furniture. Combined with the size of the actors, the men are dwarves and the women over 6 feet tall, the melodramatic performance style, and other elements, this concept made some unforgettable statements on the themes inherent in a doll's house. So after you exit out of this PowerPoint, I'll have some short clips to share with you, samples of different approaches to design for a doll's house. And the first one that you'll be able to see is a short clip from this production.